Thank you so much, sir, for giving us the time to have some word with you and out of your busy schedule. So starting with the session, I'd like you to give a brief introduction of yourself and your journey until here as a principal of GMIT. That will be really great, sir.
Yeah. Good morning, greetings, and thank you so much for inviting me for this interview. I'm Dr. Y. Vijay Kumar. I did engineering, BTech in mechanical engineering, MTech in industrial engineering from NIT Calicut, and then PhD in reliability engineering. And I have 32 years of experience in academics and 5 years in industry. After my post-graduation in MTech, I joined Reliance Industries Limited at Chembur, Bombay for 5 years, and then moved to academic field since my ambition and the thing was towards teaching. Worked in several organizations like Jain Universities, the Sairam College of Engineering, Sairam College of Engineering, and Adiyaman College of Engineering. These are all the institutions. And today, to my credit, I have 11 scholars as got PhD. They have become the doctorates under 4 universities. I have 3 patents in my name and 32 journal publications at international level I have, and 22 at national level, and 6 organizations has given a best principal awards in their 6 organizations. And today all these things, for this success, the only one thing is to work in a collaborative way. That's how I have come up. And after these 32 years of experience, last year I joined this prestigious institution, GM Institute of Technology, which is located at Davangere, which is a central part of Karnataka, which is giving us a quality education for the central part of Karnataka students. This is how I come. Since I worked 5.5 years in the industries like Reliance and RCF Bombay, and working in at various levels of an institution, today I know that how to ignite spark among the students so that they will become useful for the society. And very frequently I will give a lot of programs in TV for motivating the students. This is about my journey, madam. And I have a wife and a daughter, and daughter is settled in America. So
Okay.
after marriage.
That's
Right.
great, sir. That's great to hear about your journey up until now. So, your first question for a session today would be, sir, like being the principal of GMIT, right? What is your philosophy of leadership, and how would you describe your leadership style, sir?
Yeah, there are, since I'm from industrial engineering background, where we will speak a lot about the leadership. There are different styles of leadership is there, but I learned the leadership is collaborative, working in a team, making the people empowering and working together without having this. And that has helped me a lot. And I always think that I'm a team member rather than as a principal. So that has helped me. And the same thing I implemented in GM Institute of Technology. In a year time, I think I have 125 faculty members with me. All 125 faculty members is ready to take care of the principal duties as an administrator. And this as all as possible with the leadership as a participative leadership. And that's what I did it, and then I become a successful.
Okay, great, sir. So, being the principal of GM Institute of Technology, right? How do you strategize about the key programs and plans for the marketing and administration of your school?
Actually, my way of working is the institution will run on 3 things. One is admissions, second thing is LMS, that is a learning management system, and third one is evaluation. That evaluation part, I will take it very serious. I will not allow any even 0.01% corruption or 0.01% lenience. So that once if you evaluate wrongly, the same students, if they go to the industry, they will become failure, and tomorrow the institution brand value will go down. That is the reason now normally from the beginning, from the day one, I will start marketing. That is one is we have GM Institute of Technology has a very good collaboration, friendship, everything with the media. And my strategy is every week there should be an article or a news item or some advertisement about my institution in the media. so that will keep everyone intact with the institution. Second thing is, I will make the students as motivated or powerful to do something. And one more thing is, suppose if a student gets an offer letter, then I will keep his passport size photograph in the campus. So that these type of activities, if we go and do it, and students will also start working for that to make the things happen. That's how we are happy. And to proud to say that this time, even the COVID was there and everybody was taking the shelter of COVID and telling that I am not performing due to COVID. But whereas we at GM Institute of Technology, we completed in 21 days the complete admissions. And we gave the 97.6% of offline examinations which university has conducted for final semester, that is a terminal semester. That also we have given. And we provided the offers to every student. Every student has got offer. Here what has happened is, majority of the automobile industries where the members were working who have gone to the North India, the people who have come from North India working and due to COVID when they left and they didn't come back. But the corporate doesn't want to stop it for this reason. So that was the opportunity. We have taken it and then provided details of my students, and everybody has started now enjoying the working in corporate. And that is the reason I'm very happy to work with them.
That's great, sir. Finding opportunity at the time of need, right? So the next question I'd ask is, so the education systems in India and other foreign countries are structured very differently, right? In your experience, what can an inbound student gain from studying here in your institute?
Yeah, this was my favorite thing, and then doing lot of things. The first thing is education system in India. Yes, even the people says that it is a corporate industry 4.0, industry 4.2, all those things. But education institution has not reached to that level. And even if you do something change, people used to say that it will not work in India. Even if you want to make something little change, says that no, conventional system is better. All these type of things are there, but due to this COVID, somehow these barriers has gone. Now, according to me, if you take it to industry 4.0 is, no one has defined what is 4.0. No borders, no definition. Whatever you do it, which adds value to the system, that you can take it as a 4.0. But lightly they are telling that artificial intelligence, robotics, all these type of things will become as a part of that. Similarly, in the case of an education, 4.0, if you take it, 1.0 is Google system, where Banyan Tree was there, Guru Sisha was there. Then Blackboard has come in the 2.0, in 3.0, electronic gadgets has come. In 4.0, actually a teacher should not be there. Education 4.0, but that is not possible. But whereas already it is happening in the other countries. For example, if you go to Germany, 1:50 is the ratio. One faculty is there for 50 students to teach or to make the learning management system. But there, he works like as a felicitator. Students will continue the job, and this person will appear only when the students have some problem. But that type of situation is not at all happening in India. That's where we are lagging much behind of the world. Even still, we are struggling in chalk and talk system of learning only. That's the reason normally I prefer that allowing the students, because when there are 60 students are there in the class, all 60 students may be different. And my job as a faculty, not to teach, identify where they are interested. And if you identify that, and then if you make a small spark, automatically that student will become more powerful. And that's what we did. I think you may surprise, even though this is an engineering institution, we allow the students to go for learning Kuchipudi, Bharatanatyam, this one. And if the students are interested to become as bodybuilders, we'll allow that also. Because this is, engineering is an education, these are additional skills. The more you learn, you will become more happy. And even we are giving in the 5th semester journalism courses also to the students. Even engineering student can become as an air hostess in an airport, because we have a skyboard aviation center. That is what it is expected in the one, and that is what it is available in the other countries. But whereas here we are little here, since we know the importance of that, we implemented in our institution. That's what it is happening.
That's amazing, sir. So what do you think your roles and responsibilities to the college and the students of the institute are?
Yeah, roles and responsibilities, yes, it's only then a virtual type of thing. Normally, the moment if you become more structured and more systematic, and then if you go on tell about the rules, regulations, I think things will not. So once if you define the roles and responsibility of everyone, like a student, what is your role and what is the responsibility? Similarly, faculty, these things, and those things it has to be clear. There should not be any ambiguity, and we are very, very clear in that. We have roles of every staff member, roles of a student, roles of a parents, and roles and responsibility of stakeholders like organizations or the corporates who are coming for the interviews to my students. All these things is defined, which is very, very important. Very, very important.
Right. So how does the curriculum of GMIT ensure the best practice of the industry?
Yeah. This is another most important thing which you cannot see in some of the majority of the colleges. We want to be there in under shelter or under umbrella of a technological university. So that was our first ambition, which we did it. We are affiliated to VTU, Visvesvaraya Technological University, which is there at Belgavi. We are also one institute among the 204 engineering colleges which that university has. So due to this, I need not tell to all the countries and all the people that I am like this, and that. That problem will be solved. Second thing, what I am doing is, I am giving only 50% of the weightage or 50% of the time or 50% of the energy to teach the VTU curriculum. Remaining 50% of the time or 50% of the energy I am using for extra skills. That is what that extra skills if you provide to the student, these people will become much better than anyone in the world. Like how we are doing is, now the moment if a student joins first year, he will become as a professional member of an ISTE. That is a one technical body which is there for an engineering student. The moment when they come to second year, they will become the member of an institution of engineers. The moment when they come to third year, depending upon their specialization, they will become a member. For example, computer science students will become a member of CSI, like this. So when he comes to final year, automatically he will get 3 memberships of an association. That means he has learned something additional to the other students who are there in other colleges. Similarly, every student has to acquire one minimum skill certificate in a semester. That skill, either like earlier I told, either Bharatanatyam may become Bharatanatyam or Kuchipudi or sports or whatever it is, or Java or C++, depending upon his interest. Then again, similarly, 7 semesters, 7 skill sets he will acquire. Then finally, when he comes to a placement, 7 skills, 3 memberships, 7 marks cards, automatically he will win. In addition to that, common one is one foreign language he has to learn. He has to learn. That is a compulsory. Whether he likes it or he doesn't like it, even if he says that, sir, in my lifetime I will not leave Davangere, this is the place, my birthplace, I will stay here, still he has to undergo because others are interested to come to Davangere. So to have the business, he has to learn. That's how we are doing. And these skill set, these additional things, it is making miracles in the students' minds. Right. That's how we are doing it.
Okay. So what do you think should be the university's top priority over the next 10 years?
My top priority in the 10 years is, madam, if you ask me like as an objective, I want to see at least 1% of students should become as an IAS officers. 1% of the students should be there on the top of, as a top of an big organizations as a CEOs. And that's what we are keeping in mind. And for that we are working. And especially normally what we will do is even the student, alumni who are there in some organization who are doing, we are connecting to my students. And due to which we are making. So in the next 10 years, this particular place should become as a place for a transformation, place for one. We don't want to disturb the student dreams or what student wants. If he wants to become as a sports person, we'll allow them and then we'll pay a way for him to grow in that direction and make him. If he wants to go to a corporate, today my students are there in Google, my students are there in almost all the places. Throughout the globe they are there. So now in the next 10 years, we want to see that this is the institution everybody should know and everybody should try to come and learn something. And in one sentence is 1% of the students I want to see as an who is who in Karnataka or India, and 1% should be there as a CEOs of a big organization in next 10 years. Yes.
Amazing to hear that, sir. So, what would you like people to know about GMIT that they may not know right now?
Yeah, today, yes, yeah, it's exactly what you told is right, because majority of the students and then stakeholders, parents of North India may not be knowing. Yes, definitely we want our presence in the digital media, which and with our strengths, whatever our strengths is there, which we want to showcase it in the digital media so that it moves. That's what now we are working on digital media and how to reach people across the globe. And because this is one of the parameters to become as a successful in the coming days, where the ranking organizations are expecting how much heterogeneous you are. Suppose if you are in Karnataka, how many people are coming from outside Karnataka? If that percentage is more, definitely the institution is better one. So for that, we want only one we identified, that is a digital media. How to move in this direction. That's what we want to plan in the coming days and do.
Right, sir. So, what do you see as GMIT's greatest strengths?
The greatest strength of GMIT is one, management, unstinted support of the management, which is making as one of the most important institution. And this is the next strength is infrastructure. You may not believe this particular campus has 3 helipads, and all the requirements is there. Even our Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji also has visited this campus. Since we have 3 helicopters, and automatically this will become his landing place, and he has inaugurated one of the building also when he was a Gujarat Chief Minister. All these things, that is infrastructure is the second one. Third one is very, very, very strong and robust ethical values, which we are embodying. These are the 3 great sources of this institution: management, infrastructure, ethical values. And you may not believe, even from the COVID started in the month of February, till date, our management has paid the complete salaries to everyone, not even deducting the single rupee. Second thing is, in this month for Deepavali, even we are getting increments also, increments with the DRI. This has never happened in this one. So that's what I said, that first preference or first strength is management, because it's a highly focused one. Second one is infrastructure. Third one is ethical values. These are the strengths.
Right, sir. So, what are some of the biggest challenges you see, both for higher education in general and for GMIT College specifically?
Some challenges in the coming days or now I'm facing is the threat from the private universities or the deemed universities versus the institutions. Now, in case of universities, due to certain short-term objectives or short-term goals, when they compromise it, as a student, as a customer, is preferring that side. And that was one challenge we are facing, and that's the reason we are now working out how to take care of this challenge as a positive one. That's why in this direction we are working. Second thing is, the number of institutions is increasing day by day, but whereas engineering seat seekers is coming down very frequently that days. And this is another challenge we are going to face. Now, I think you might have seen in the newspaper, in Tamil Nadu, 75% of the seats are vacant in engineering, and the similar situation is there. But whereas since we have these all strengths, I think most probably it may not come for a GM instructor. It cannot.
Right, sir. So, going ahead, I'd like to ask you the last question for today, for the session. So, how do you tend to establish a healthy relation and environment in your institute?
Yeah, here the most important thing, compared to corporate, the cost of error or the cost of mistake in education institution is very, very small. Even if student makes a mistake or if the faculty makes a blunder, if you convert that into rupees, it is very, very simple. Suppose if I teach something wrong today, tomorrow I can go and correct it. Suppose if I break some instrument today and tomorrow I can get it repaired because all prototype models are available. And so on. That is the reason normally what I say is experiment it. Experiment it. Go on, do it. The thing is, I am there. If you want, take the keys for 24 hours and keep it with you and work on it. So due to this, what is happening is the relationship bondage will. The moment if you lock the facilities and then say that this cannot be used, then the relationship will become weaker and finally students will become against to the institution, all this type of thing. If you hand over the keys to the students, then automatically things. Second thing is, accept in the beginning itself. In the day, the first class when you go, you tell them that I am also learning along with you. Because today the definition of student and faculty is, faculty has on 2 hours extra time which he has used to prepare for that class. Other than that, both are same. Student is also has the same and lecturer, but teacher has prepared for 2 hours and has come to class. That's all only difference. So hence, if you tell that, automatically the relationships will become powerful, which we are teaching to all our faculty. Tell them that we are together, we learn. Tell them that experiment it. Tell them that if you break it also, no problem, because we can do it. Even if an instrument has broken, if you divide it by 60 students, it will not go beyond 100 rupees, 100 or 150 rupees. So that is the one. But normally majority of the colleges, what they do, the moment if you touch in a computer or server or in a lathe or in a milling machine or some machine, they say that, no, please don't touch, you cannot, you don't know. That is not it. If you do that type of thing, automatically the relations will, which what we are using today in our institution. That's how it is.
Okay, that was really nice, sir, to get the time, this few minutes with yours and to listen to your views and thoughts, right? And I'm sure this is going to help the aspirants also to choose the right college and to choose GMIT for the career or the studies going ahead.